Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful Japanese method for transforming your life. And here's the best part. It's not about making these huge, intimidating leaps. It's all about taking tiny, totally manageable steps. All right, let's dive right in. By starting with a feeling I'm pretty sure we all know. That paralyzing pressure and anxiety when you're trying to make some big, life-altering change all at once.
Yeah, just look at this experience from author Sarah Harvey. She felt stuck. She wanted to change, but found that every single attempt to start a new habit it fizzled out. Sound familiar? It's that classic case of big ambitions hitting a wall of resistance.
And that resistance, it often comes from this exact battle right here. On one side, you've got this huge, terrifying idea of radical change, the whole new year, new me thing. But on the other, there's a quieter, more patient approach. What if the most sustainable path isn't a sprint at all, but just a series of small, consistent steps?
And that brings us right to the heart of it, the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen. It's a gentler and, as we're about to see, a much more effective way to approach personal growth and make changes that actually last.
So, what in the world is Kaizen? Well, it basically translates to good change, and it's built on this simple but really profound idea that our lives deserve to be constantly improved, not through some massive, dramatic overhaul, but through small, continuous actions that just add up over time.
But what's the secret sauce here? I mean, why is this small step approach so powerful when our biggest, most ambitious New Year's resolutions so often crash and burn by, the second week of January?
Well, the answer is actually wired right into our brain chemistry. When we set a huge, scary goal, our brain can literally see it as a threat. This triggers the amygdala, the brain's little alarm bell, and kicks off that fight or flight response. And what does that lead to? Fear, procrastination. We freeze up and resist the very change we're trying to make.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. I love this analogy from Dr. Robert Moore. He says small steps are like a cat burglar. They're so tiny, so non-threatening that they just sneak right past your brain's internal alarm system. You end up making progress without ever triggering that defensive resistance. It's genius.
And here's a little plot twist for you. While we think of Kaizen as this famously Japanese philosophy, its modern roots actually have a pretty surprising international history. Believe it or not, the core idea was actually developed in the United States during World War II to boost wartime production. After the war, American advisors took these ideas over to Japan to help rebuild its industries, and that's where it really took root. The Japanese embraced it, perfected it, and named it Kaizen, with Toyota becoming a world-famous example. Then, by the 1980s, the idea was re-imported back to the West because it was just so powerful. What a round trip, huh?
This whole idea of small, continuous improvement has a brilliantly practical application, one that's often called the theory of marginal gains, or simply the 1% method.
And there's no better example of this than the British cycling team. Seriously. In 2002, they were mediocre at best. Then Sir Dave Brailsford took over. He broke down everything that goes into riding a bike: nutrition, bike mechanics, the comfort of the seat, even tire grip, and he aimed to improve each tiny little element by just 1%. The result? Total domination at the 2008 and 2012 Olympics. It's incredible proof that all those tiny gains add up to create massive, runaway success.
So how can you actually start doing this in your own life? It's a pretty simple 3-step process. First, just take an inventory. Where are you right now, really? Second, start asking small, gentle questions about what could be improved. And finally, identify the absolute smallest, most manageable first step you can possibly take.
Let's make this really concrete. Check out this example. Instead of a huge, terrifying goal like, fix my entire living situation, the Kaizen process breaks it way down. The first step isn't some massive confrontation. Nope, it's simply I could talk to just one of my housemates. You see the difference? It's achievable, it's not threatening, and most importantly, it's a start.
So, we've gone through the why and the how. Now comes the most important part, figuring out what this looks like for you starting today.
This is the number you need to remember: 1%. You don't need a 100% overhaul of your life tomorrow. All you need to do is focus on that 1% improvement. Just ask yourself, what is one tiny thing I can do just a little bit better? There's this beautiful Japanese proverb that just sums it all up perfectly. It reminds us that it's not the single giant swing of the axe that brings down a tree. It's the consistent, small, repeated efforts that lead to profound transformation over time.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Forget the 1,000-mile journey for just a moment. What is one tiny, almost unnoticeable change, that very first single step you can make right now to start your own Kaizen journey?